We have a wonderful panel. Suhel Seth joining us, Christopher Hale, Democratic strategist, Spencer Critchley, author, political analyst, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Dr. Ranganathan stays on. Suhel, you keep shuttling between New York City, London. What's your take on this?
I have absolutely no issue. None whatsoever. I have known Mira Nair. I haven't ever seen any hate speech that I know of. I think, we all need to take a deep breath. Andrew Cuomo was and will remain an absolute scoundrel. You should have seen what he did during COVID, the amount of money he stole. Here is a person who has won an election. Now, by the way, a very similar pool of people in India have the same thing to talk about our prime minister, our people, saying, oh, but they're hate spreaders, they're this, they're this. My logic is very simple. If a person wins an election, it's because the people of that city, state or country want him in a position of power. That's what you should be subservient to. Now, coming to the two things that he's been accused of. Netanyahu. Netanyahu, for a lot of people, is a war criminal. A lot of people have an issue with Netanyahu qua Gaza. I don't get involved with that because it's not my place. I don't know enough. Abhijit knows a lot more about that situation. I know about New York. Eric Adams had destroyed New York beyond redemption. You should have seen what was happening in New York for the last 3 years. The city was infested with unruly migrants who were being housed in 5-star hotels. Education in New York had gone to the dogs. Crime had risen like it's never before. You will also see, and I don't know if you have actually seen it, Pranesh, since you do a lot of research. He was interviewed by Kolbe yesterday or day before, where he was asked about his anti-Jewish stance. And Zohran Mamdani actually came out with facts where he quoted his synagogue visits, where he talked about the people he met in Brooklyn, where he talked about community security, he talked about community good. Look, New York is a microcosm. To now say that, oh, New York will become like London. And why has London become like that? Because Sadiq Khan has never promised security. Okay. He has only promised appeasement. Zoran Mamdani, and I don't know how he will perform eventually, but Zoran Mamdani has said that, look, we want a different New York. And the young are with him. And Pradesh, no matter what you might say, I'm old. I mean, you guys are still young, including the two gentlemen from overseas. But the point is that for the first time, there is a real threat to the so-called, Republican hegemony that was being created in America. Okay.
Let's get into
a lot of people say the far left is getting in. Right. Now, I'm a great believer. If he's won the primaries, let's wait. We don't know who will be, standing against him.
Abhijit.
Look, you can think Modi's a war criminal. You can think Netanyahu's a war criminal. That's an absolute right? I happen to think, Obama's a war criminal. I happen to think Clinton's a war criminal. There's nothing you can do about it. The issue is, he is a pathological liar. He oversteps what authority is granted to him by the Constitution. And he propagates hate. You've seen the video where his followers were calling Hindus bastards. He neither reined them in nor said anything about it, even though his mother is a Hindu. He's never condemned it. Okay? Going to synagogues. You can be anti-Netanyahu, you can't be anti-Jew. Going to synagogues doesn't wash you of your sins. Last I checked, Jews don't have a concept like Catholic, confession and then being wiped of your sins. He lies pathologically. He said, oh, I'm surprised. I didn't think there were Muslims left in Gujarat. Are you kidding me? Really? When were they driven out of Gujarat? He's a socialist, which is perfectly fine if that is what the people want. They want nationalizations. They want their tax money to go towards, supermarkets and things like that.
Right.
That's also perfectly fine. The issue, possibly the most dangerous issue with him, why he's essentially a Fidel Castro Jr. in the making, is that he oversteps his authority.
Okay.
He has no right to order arrests. That lies with the prosecutor. It is not for the mayor to order arrests anywhere.
Right. Dr. Ranganathan?
He said this about Bibi Netanyahu. This fellow might as well just wear an SS.
Yeah. Sorry.
He's getting there.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's enlightening listening always to Suhel and my good friend Abhijit. And I don't know why Suhel calls himself old. He doesn't look a day older than 70, to be honest. But, I go with Abhijit there because two facts out here. This guy is the embodiment of the phrase, hyphenated phrase that is often used in common lingo nowadays, at least for a decade, Sharia Bolshevik. I mean, he's unabashed about it. And I don't mind that much what Abhijit has said, his ignorance about India and Gujarat, be that as it may. I mean, he's not an Indian. He's not supposed to know that Gujarat has a 10 to 15% Muslim population, and the Muslims of Gujarat are the most prosperous Muslim community in India, as opposed to the most backward Muslim community you would find in Bengal that has never been ruled by the BJP. So he doesn't know that fact. It's fine. My problem is, as Abhijit rightly pointed out, him saying he's going to arrest a prime minister of a friendly country, friendly meaning with America as well as with India. On what basis does he say that? America is not a signatory to the International Court of Justice, rightly so. The fact of the matter is he has no authority in saying that. And he also believes in cancel culture. It is absolutely evident there. He has not condemned the abuses heaped upon by his supporters in that mob, anti-Hindu, chants that they were saying. He's saying we want globalized intifada, knowing very well what the word intifada actually translates into mob justice and street violence. He knows all that. The fact of the matter is he still continues with that diatribe because he knows that is increasingly going to win him votes. So I echo Abhijit out there, and I'm afraid this is one instance where I disagree with Suhel.
Mr. Hale, what do you make of what we've discussed so far?
I think one of the things we have to realize is that the same electorate that voted for Eric Adams in 2021, who is very pro-Israel, very pro-Netanyahu, is definitely not a socialist. He was a former cop, voted for Zohran Mamdani. I would be very careful to have universal concepts of what this means for American politics, for the Democratic Party. This is a particular race and a particular time.
No, let's not go there. Mr. Hale, just on the fact that this man says that if Netanyahu comes to New York, I will have him arrested. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's awful. I think it's an awful thing to say. I think it probably did lose him a significant amount of votes. I think what won him the votes, though, it wasn't his anti-Jewish rhetoric, his anti-Israel rhetoric.
You are calling it awful, but that explains why you are a democratic strategist and he's your representative. He's out there, with the people fighting the election. Mr. Critchley?
I actually agree with several of the points I've made from all of the speakers, I think, and in particular, Mr. Hill just now. I think it's tempting to read more into this kind of thing than actually can be read into it. People should remember, this is certainly true in the United States, and I think it's true in most countries, if not all democratic countries. The average voter is paying far less attention to specific issues than people assume they are, especially people who pay attention to politics every day, like I think all of us probably do. I think that Mr. Mamdani made the centerpiece of his campaign not so much his position on Israel, which I also disagree with, by the way, in terms of arresting a foreign head of state as the mayor of a city. But about the most pressing issues that New Yorkers are facing, like sky-high rents and very expensive groceries and unaffordable childcare. And I think that those are the sorts of things that most voters are paying attention to, along with a dissatisfaction with what they see as business as usual politics.
Okay. Abhijit, you have the last word, 30 seconds.
You know, it's very interesting what Chris Hale said. You know, Hitler wasn't elected based on his policies against Jews. He was elected based on his policies to recover Germany from the economic disaster that was the Weimar Republic. All right, hyperinflation, one sausage costing a billion Reichsmarks and things like that. Guess what? They still got the Holocaust. This chap identifies as a 12er Shia, which is the same denomination as Ayatollah Khamenei. Ayatollah Khamenei, you can choose in the 12er, this thing, you can choose your particular Ayatollah. I just want some conscientious reporter who isn't on the Democratic paycheck to actually go up to this man and ask him what he thinks of Ayatollah Khamenei, and is he willing to condemn Ayatollah Khamenei?
Let's see, Mr. Hale, you know, if you have it, you know, in the scheme of things that you operate, let's do this social experiment. Let's send one reporter and let's have him ask this question. We've run out of time. Let's, you know, keep this discussion for some other day. Maybe when the results are officially out, you know, we can have this panel again. But gentlemen, thank you for joining us and putting this in context for our viewers. We're taking a quick break. The news are with Navika Kumar on the other side.